Hey, it's me again. Or there's going to be a lot of these, so let's not even do that. So I want to start this episode with some chastising. And I really totally appreciate this from the wonderful and superb Rachel Maddow. I'm going to make sure I get this right because I tried to do video before and I can't use my microphone speakers for this. So I'm switching to computer audio, which is not good for me, for the microphone. But listen to this, it's important. When election day arrives, again, just 22 days from now, 22 days until the election. When election day arrives, again, just 22 days from now, when election day arrives and you wake up full of anxiety about what's going to happen that day. In a lot of states with the governor's race, or the control of the legislature, with the all-important control of the United States Senate, and of course with the presidential race. Come on, don't be buffering. Damn it.
Time. The polls exist. It's an Atkins way is listening to workers and small business owners who know.
Whatever happens, I know that I did all I could do. Or the control of the legislature, with the all-important control of the United States Senate, and of course with the presidential race. Whatever happens, I know that I did all I could do. I'm thinking of your mental health here. The whole country right now has collective anxiety and frankly collective dyspepsia over what's going to happen in the election with the Congress and a lot of states with the governor's race, or the control of the legislature, with the all-important control of the United States Senate, and of course with the presidential race. Come on, man. Sit down, talk with your family or your partner or your best friend or your kids or whoever you make important decisions with. Figure out what you personally can do to apply your own self toward bringing about the election outcome that you want. And then go do it right away. We're here. 3 weeks and 1 day left. If you are going to do anything, this is the time. Come on, Rachel, finish it. Yes, that's your personal voting plan in terms of getting your vote in and your vote counted. But it's more than that, all right? If you are going to donate, if you have money to donate, now is the time. If you are going to phone bank for a candidate, or that's your personal voting plan in terms of getting your vote in and your vote counted. But it's more than that, all right? If you are going to donate, if you have money to donate, now is the time. If you are going to phone bank for a candidate or for a proposition or for a party, now is the time. If you are going to volunteer for a candidate or for a campaign, now is the time. If you are going to sign up to be a poll worker and you haven't done so already, now is the time. The time for thinking. Wanting to feel like you did all you could. You will be happier and healthier over the next 3 weeks if you are, in fact, doing something to help bring about the outcome that you want. So this is the time to figure out what that is. It is time to hit the go button. I'm just saying. I'm just saying it because I care about you. I want to.
I don't miss Rachel Maddow. I don't miss her show. But she's right. And we all should be doing our part. And this is my part. I figure I've been watching politics my entire life, since elementary school, for as far back as I can remember. And it should be applied. And it should be used for something. And as a political observer for this generation, and I'm speaking specifically to Gen X, I remember when I was 18, and Sister Soldier, I was preaching about voting and getting involved in politics. My friends all knew, here she goes with that. And I remember the press coming out and saying that's when we first got our label, Gen X. It was an X because it was unknown what we were going to do. One thing we did know is that this generation was deemed the most apathetic generation born in America. And I agree with that. And you wonder why we have so many septuagenarian and octogenarians serving in our Congress, and 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds and damn near 90-year-olds. It's because we haven't taken our seat. Gen X, we sat back and let our parents and grandparents make the decisions for our lives and our futures. Well, that day's done. It's our job. And if you think things are backwards or things ain't changing, well, that's why. So I want to deal with this. This is, let's get to the fundamentals so we understand why and what we're voting for here. And me and Trisha, we talk about this all the time, my podcast partner, because when you're knee deep in politics, when you're a news junkie like we are, and you watch politics all the time and you're a constant pay attention, my brother, he says, hold on a second. Allergies, don't have my pills, sorry. My brother, he always says, well, I'm not as into politics as you are. I'm going to explain this to people. I'm not necessarily into politics. It's annoying and frustrating to me too, and all of us who watch politics. Let's get to the root of it. Politics is actually the art of debating policy. And you see, we're governed by policy. Yeah, the Affordable Care Act, all those things, those programs, Medicare, Medicaid, anything that you use, your 401k, all that stuff is governed by a policy. And what politics is this person has an idea of how we should handle this problem for Americans. Well, this side has a different idea. And politics is arguing those two ideas. Well, I've been saying since 2016, we haven't been talking politics or policy at all. This election is coming down to the fundamentals. I said in 2016 and in 2018, the only question on the ballot is, are you a patriot who believes in democracy or not? I'm very, very impressed with so many Republicans. And Nicole Wallace is another one. I don't miss her show. And I remember when she worked for the Bush administration, and then when she was working for the John McCain campaign, I couldn't stand her because she was so smart. She always seemed too smart to be on the side she was on to me. It was like, and she could not lie. She wouldn't lie, but she could manipulate or focus on something and run with it in a way that, most Republicans have to depend on lies and distortions to do. But she would take a salient point and make a point that I could argue, but most people wouldn't. And so I'm glad Steve Schmidt. Now, they're still conservatives and they believe in conservative ideals, and I'm going to deal with that too. But right now, this fight comes down to, are we patriots? Do we believe in America and democracy? And this divides down because I know Black people, a lot of Black people I was listening to Trevor Noah, and he had a Wilmer, I can't remember, from NCIS, I guess, on, and he was saying how immigrants, even if they've been here for years, tend to feel like guests in this country, even though they're U.S. citizens. You know, Black people, we've been here for over 400 years. And yet sometimes we act like guests. I remember in 2007, I went home for Christmas, and everybody was, in California, a lot of my friends had started out Clinton supporters. They wanted Hillary. But for months, I'd been telling them I was with President Obama before he announced. And when they kept saying, oh, he's so professorial, I was the one watching C-SPAN, listening like, he's got some great ideas. I like being talked to as an adult. After 8 years of Bush, you're either with us or against us. You're a good guy or bad guy. I'm like, good Lord, I'm not two. I mean, I appreciate a president who can speak in complete sentences and talks to me like an adult with functioning brain cells. So I love President Obama. I was like, every time they kept saying, oh, he's too professorial, I'm like, wait, he doesn't talk like a moron? Thank God for that. So anyway, for months, I had in California been changing my friends' minds and having them look more at Obama. And by December, we were all voting for Barack Obama in the primaries. I come home to Portsmouth. I remember one of my oldest cousins, he was like, so what, cuz, who you voting for? I was like, I'm voting for Barack Obama. I was like, who you voting for? I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. I was like, really? It's like, they ain't gonna let no Black man become president. And I said, who's they? If you don't vote for him, then he won't get elected. We are the they, right? They, who is they? Black man with the legal right to vote. Do you want him to be president? He said, yeah. Well, then vote for him. All right. Yeah. By the time I left Portsmouth, everybody was over President Obama. That's what I do. So anyway, we're voting for Joe Biden. And that's the fundamental thing I want to talk to Black people about right now, because we feel like guests. Sometimes when I hear Black people talk, it's almost as if we still have a slave mentality. Like, this isn't part of our heritage and that we don't have a right to democracy. Hey, people, listen, here's the irony of all ironies. We're among the oldest Americans now. Mm-hmm. Oh, all my branches came out of slavery, and at least half of them were here before there was a constitution. It was hilarious when they started talking about that birthright citizenship. Do y'all really want to pull that cord? We ain't have freedom of movement, so we've been here for quite a while. This is our government, and this is our democracy. And we have every right to be a patriot. We have fought in every single war. The flatlands those plantations were raised on were cleared by us. The Capitol building, the White House, we built that. So listen, this is our government. And there's some outsiders sitting here by an enemy of the state to destroy it. And if y'all don't understand what's important about that, I'm going to do a real quick recap about democracy. I tell this all the time. One of my younger cousins posted this one day recently, and it pisses me off every time I see anybody say it. I'm so sick of this politics. Can we get back to talking about fun stuff? You know where they don't have to talk about politics? They only have to worry their pretty little heads about politics. Dictatorships. You know why? Because they have no say-so. You got a president and an administration like this one. You don't have an election. Putin says, I'm going to be president for 26 years and just give me 12 more. His people don't want him there, but they don't have a say-so in it. You know how we get a say-so? This vote. It's our vote. That's what separates us as a democracy. In a democracy, the power always and ultimately rests with the people. I was just talking to my mom, and she started reading Frederick Douglass's autobiography after the speech I gave early this year. And I adore Frederick Douglass. He's one of my idols. I look up to him. One of my favorite quotes, this is my cover photo on my Facebook page, is one of my favorite quotes of his. And he says, the limits of tyrants is prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppressed. Of those whom they oppress. In other words, the tyrant can only get so far. The minute the people say, you know what, no, that's where their power ends. And I think you can see from all these long lines, these voting places, so early before election day, this is the people saying, tyrant, get the hell out of here. And so what did Trump say the other day? These ballots are out of control. We need to stop all these mail-in ballots. All these people voting. This is unfair. Wait, it's unfair because you're losing? You know, that's how democracy works. I don't know if people remember, because we used to know this, as people, democracy, ruled by many. The majority in this country rules. So yeah, we vote. And whoever gets the most votes wins. You're not supposed to cheat. You're not allowed to, oh, well, these people can vote and these people can't vote. Not anymore. We all get to vote. And if we all say you got to take your fat ass and get the hell out of here, then that's what we mean. You ugly piece of shit. Get out of here. Sorry, I digress. Okay, we got another one coming. Thank you.